What's good, everybody? Welcome to Bound for Success, the podcast with your host, SB. During these episodes, we will be joined by successful people from all walks of life, and we will see the common and not so common denominators that has helped them reach the pinnacle of their career. So get your pen and pad ready so you can implement these habits and live a more fulfilling life, ultimately preparing you for success across all boundaries. Now, without any more further ado, let's get right into it. We have a very special guest kicking the season off for us. We have someone who Sports Illustrated just named one of 50 most powerful, influential, and outstanding women in sports. She is captain of the Italian national softball team, two-time All-American, and is scheduled to compete in Tokyo for the upcoming Olympics. Let's welcome Erika Piancastelli. All right, Erika, welcome to the show. After some technical difficulties on my end, we finally got it to work. How's it going out there?
It's good. I'm currently in Rome right now, training on my own-ish. A couple of girls and I couldn't really get the training that we wanted back home, so we decided to all come to Rome and use the Olympic training facility. So we're out here for a month and a half, kind of, until our next team meeting or team reunion, and then we'll see what happens with COVID and all of that after mid-December. So right now we're just training in Rome.
Cool. So I mentioned in the intro that you are in the upcoming Olympics. Are you training for the Olympics right now, or are you kind of just getting some work in despite quarantine?
Yeah, we're training for the Olympics right now. We just started a weight room program. So it's mainly off-season work right now. And then we'll probably get more into the softball technical field stuff probably in January and then see what happens.
Cool. So before I finish your resume so that people can understand who we're talking to, tell us a little bit about AU Unlimited. I know you just wrapped that up and you guys have some exciting plans for the future. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so mid-August to about the end of September, I played for Athletes Unlimited, which was a new professional league that they created this year based out of Chicago. So I was in Chicago for 6 weeks. And Athletes Unlimited is like, it's a new league, and they also kind of changed the way we play, kind of made it more fantasy softball style. We had points every game, depending on what you did during the game, if your team won. And then based off of these points, there's a leaderboard, and based off that leaderboard, they choose the team captain for the next week, and then there's a draft every single week. So it was super fun, super entertaining. I think it was a great way to get softball on TV and to get people more involved and to kind of get to know the game. Um, it was the first time I think that softball actually got treated like a professional sport. I've never been treated the way that Athletes Unlimited treat us
Yeah, I was there.
from being in the bubble. Yeah, we were royalty in the bubble. It was super fun. Now that softball was the first sport, they have volleyball coming up in February, and then lacrosse in the summer, and then softball starts back up next August 2021. So it's going to be super exciting. I'm excited to see how big Athletes Unlimited gets.
That's very cool. So before we move on from that, I want to hear about your bubble experience.
It was nice. I actually missed the bubble. I'd be there a whole year if I could. It was strict at first. We had to go to the field. We could only be at the field or in our apartment slash hotel room, whatever you had. Transportation was either given to us if you're older than 25 with a rental car, or you had to use the buses that they had. Um, we had to get our groceries delivered to our apartment. We couldn't go out and get it. We had to have our meals delivered. Um, we got tested twice a week, and that's it. We couldn't really go do anything. We had to either be practicing at the field using that facility or just hanging out at the apartments. There was super strict rules with the apartment as well. So like if you had a roommate, you had to always be 6 feet apart. You couldn't eat at the same table. So it was like super strict rules, but then maybe come week 3, and we've been tested already like 12 times, they kind of were more of like, okay, you just can't go out. Like you have to only stick to the parameters, but we were allowed to hang out within the apartment and do all that. So it was super well organized, and it didn't make you feel like you were restricted. Like I feel like people think bubble and they think that you're literally in a bubble and you can't do anything, but
I have no
it was
clue.
more of like, yeah, it was more of like, I felt like I was at a training camp with my team and I just was practicing every single day and then going back to my room. So it was really fun. I enjoyed it.
Nice. So I know your bubble experience is probably a little bit different from the other girls because you were big quarantine in Italy when it first started. So that little bubble was probably like Disneyland or like
That was heaven. It was way better than the quarantine I experienced in March. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like when you're surrounded by people, it already makes the experience better. The
sure.
quarantine I had in the very beginning, it was just me and my parents in an apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And in this bubble, I was surrounded by people my age playing the same sport, same mindset, um, enjoying the same things. And it just felt like I was back in college and I just couldn't go out. So I don't know. It was super fun for me.
Interesting. Well, I'm glad you made it out. So cool. All right. So I'm gonna list your accomplishments. I'm gonna have to read them because there's no way anyone can just remember all of these. And then we'll get into the show.
All
So
right.
you have 20 collegiate records. So I'm gonna start with a few of them. 3 career records, 3 single season records. The jersey's already retired, and you just graduated in what year?
2018.
Yeah, so it took them a year or two just to get the jersey up. You lead the conference in walks, 2-time All-American, 3-time All-Region, 3-time Conference Player and Hitter of the Year, Freshman of the Year, All Louisiana Freshman of the Year, numerous honor rolls, Student Athlete of the Year, 8 varsity letters, CIF champ, lead the team in home runs. I mean, the list goes on. It sounds repetitive, but you was doing your thing. So congrats on that.
Thank you.
Gotta give the people their flowers while they're here. All right, so let's get into the actual task at hand now. So the first question I got for you on our first podcast is, what's your definition of success and what does it mean to you?
Success to me, I feel like I don't have an actual definition for it. I feel like to me, success is a daily thing. It depends on what you're into at that moment. And to me, being successful, it comes with everything in life, not just sports, not just athletics, but just if you have something that you want, a little goal that you want to reach, a small goal, um, and for that day you've reached it, that to me is success. Or if you decided, I want to save money to go get this gift and you were able to accomplish that, to me that's success. So for me, it's just taking those baby steps towards a goal that you've created, um, is successful. And if you're happy doing it, if you're if you love what you do continuously every single day, that to me is success. So I think it just depends on where you are in your life at that moment and what it is that you're trying to do. Right now for me, it's softball. So I feel like anything I do with softball, with training, with my team, every little step that I do that I take every single day to reach my goal is a successful day to me. So I think it just depends.
And I agree with that because I feel like, to me, not to go into my definition, but I feel like success has a constant, like different measuring stick. Like there's no just one level or one definition of success. Like it can move every week, just like you mentioned. So
Yeah.
I definitely have to agree with that. And a disclaimer before we continue for all the guests. Obviously, you're not the pinnacle of your career and the top success that you want to reach. So when I say successful, like everyone's successful in their own way, but we're still striving to get more and keep getting more. So we're not plateauing or anything when we say successful throughout the podcast. We're still further reaching. So a little
Yes.
disclaimer. What are some habits you feel that have made you successful, that have just separated you from the average and have got you to where you are?
I feel like every decision I make every single day has led me to my success. I want to say with this sport or any sport really, a lot of sacrifice is involved. And I think the decisions you make every single day will affect whether or not you'll reach that goal that we were just talking about. And so I feel like to me is it's little things. It's whether I choose to eat right that day or if I choose to get my training in. Um, do I go out on one Saturday night, or do I just stay in the house and recover the way I should be? I think it's all like little steps. And like I said before, it depends where you are in your life. So when I was in college, things that allowed me to be successful was being focused on the field, being focused in school, and treating my body the way I needed to treat it. Now that I'm done with school, for me, it's getting the training in on my own without having someone having to continuously push me. It's eating right as best as I can. Um, During COVID, I feel like my idea of success changed a little bit and like what I had to do with that. So I play a team sport. So I'm used to people being around my teammates. I'm used to working out with my teammates. So having been stuck in lockdown, I had to find a way to keep that training going by myself. I had to find a way to stay active and to do little things. So I think those little habits and those little decisions that you make every single day are what at the end of the day, that's what makes you successful. So if it's little decisions and if you can decide whether to do something or not, or whether it's going to set you up for success or set you up for failure, I think just making that decision in itself is a habit.
For sure. I heard you talk about decision making and sacrifice. Not out of those two, but what would you say is the biggest factor that has helped you uh, become successful?
Between decision making and sacrifice,
Not between those two, but I heard you mention those. But just what do you think is the biggest factor that has helped you become successful?
I think my mindset. Um, I feel like my mindset is a little different. I try to view things in a positive way every time. So um, to me, I just try to have fun with everything I do. So if it's something I know I particularly don't like running, if it's some type of training that I don't like, I try to find a way to make it competitive and to make it fun. And I feel like that to me is what has allowed me to get to where I am, because I can get to that next gear. I can always find like the rainbow on the other side kind of mentally. And if you ask anyone, I'm kind of the goofy one. So I try to like make everything a little bit easier and simpler. And I try not to be serious all the time, especially when it comes to my training. So I mean, I'm serious when I'm training, but I try to like loosen up the vibes and try to just enjoy every single moment, because I know that um, there's a lot of things that as an athlete you might not enjoy 100%, but you know that you need to be doing it. And so I think that is a huge factor for me, is just my mindset, just trying to see the light at the end of the tunnel in everything I do, and just to have fun with it. I try to keep things as simple as I can.
Yeah. So speaking of mindset, would you agree that most pros, the mindset is kind of what has gotten them to that level? Like, because in college we all pretty much endure the same thing more or less. But the mindset that lets them do the extra work or does what's necessary to get them to the extra steps.
Absolutely. I think that's what kind of separates the elite and the professionals from any other athlete. Especially in college, you get to college, a lot of players get to college and they think they've made it, and they don't realize that everyone that's there is at the same level as you. And so you're not in high school where you're the best player, you're now going on a team where everyone was the best player at one point. And so you have to kind of find that next gear of what's going to separate you. And I feel like that's what separates being an elite athlete and being a professional from just an average collegiate athlete, or just an average athlete in itself. And it's a mindset of being able to push yourself further than you thought. I don't know if I'm explaining that right, but like for me personally, it's more of just like the little like training things that I have to do on my own. That already I feel like separates me mentally, just because I'm allowed I'm able to push myself. I'm able to find a reason behind it and know that I need to be doing this, rather than I feel like there's some athletes that unless they're told that this is why they're doing something, they won't do it. And it's like, I feel like that mindset of you can figure it out on your own and figure out that there is a reason behind everything is what gets you to that next level. I feel
Hmm.
like you have that mindset. I mean, you play worldwide, so you understand what you have to do to get there.
Yeah, and I've seen it at all levels. Like when I got to college, I've seen a ton of my teammates not work out after our schedule stuff, and even at the pro level, guys don't work out as much as I feel they should for whatever reason.
Or
But
it's like they just do what is on paper. So it's like you have to practice from 10 to 12. I'm going to practice from 10 to 12 and that's it.
hmm
And I was like that freshman year. I mean, I freshman
surprise.
year I was just there for the ride, you know. I didn't really know what to expect. So I didn't get that mindset until maybe middle of sophomore year, that I figured out that I need to be doing more if I want to distinguish myself and put a name out there. I mean, and I'm not saying you have to kill yourself every single day and do 8 practices a day, but it's finding little things that you can do that other people aren't doing.
Hmm.
And I think that's what helps a lot.
So you said your sophomore year, you kind of like just figured it out. Did someone kind of talk to you and tell you, or did you just like have a realization by yourself one day? Like, what made you decide, like, okay, I want more or whatever?
Um, Honestly, I think for me, I started to fall in love with the game again. Um, Freshman year, everyone knows freshman year is a lot. It's a lot of information, a lot of change. I was out of state, so I was away from my family. Um, it's it's a job. I feel like sports, when you're a student athlete, it's a job. You have to go to school and then you also have to practice. And so for me, it was just kind of being able to balance that was a struggle freshman year. I wasn't supposed to play at all my freshman year. I was like second string, third string catcher just because I was a freshman.
Right.
But turns out something happened with our starting catcher that made me have to play. I had to become the catcher for when season started, and they told me this in my winter exit meeting. And so I feel like that kind of started the switch, but I didn't really understand it yet. I was like, okay, I have to play. And then I think after my success freshman year, um, which for me wasn't even success, I was just playing. I was just having fun and doing what I knew how to do. But to other people, it was super successful and it was a big deal. And so I think going into sophomore year, knowing that I was able to do that without even realizing it allowed me kind of to take in what the training that we were doing as student athletes and kind of realize, okay, this is the minimum. I need to find a way to do more if I want to keep performing the way that I can perform.
Sure.
Yeah.
What would you say is the biggest sacrifice that has helped you set yourself apart or get to where you're at in your career?
Um, I feel like there's a lot of sacrifices that we have to make. For me, the biggest one is probably just like a social life, like a normal teenage social life. Um, I remember in high school specifically, like I couldn't go to dances, I couldn't go to parties on the weekend, I couldn't hang out with my friends on the weekends because I always had tournaments. My summer, I never had a summer because of softball. I always had tournaments. And so I think those were like those big sacrifices as a teenager. Like my life is completely over because I can't go to the beach or I can't do something like that. But then once you get to like the elite level of being an athlete, I think every day is a sacrifice. You have to sacrifice going out to eat with some friends. You have to sacrifice maybe um, taking a nap one day and training instead, or waking up early because you have to go do stuff before you train. And it's just like little sacrifices I think you have to make on a daily basis is what separates you.
Yeah, athletes, especially the elite ones, make a lot of sacrifices, going to bed early, waking up early, napping.
And
Like,
it's that mindset though, because in the moment you probably like, why do I have to not go, like why can't I go out to eat with my friends? But then you have to think of like your end goal. And I feel like only those elite athletes are able to think ahead
I
and
mean,
not just in the moment.
not there, you're gonna think you're just missing out on stuff, but we don't think we're missing out on stuff because we know
Yeah,
our big picture.
exactly.
Yeah, so that goes into the strong mindset and just being a visionary. So speaking
Hmm.
on our mindset, what are your thoughts on manifestation and goal setting?
I mean, I don't know if you saw the video on Instagram, but I manifest a lot. There's this video I posted that I was on second base. This is at Athletes Unlimited. I was on second, and we were down by 3 in the 7th inning, and I had the mic. I was mic'd up that game, and one of our teammates is up to bat. We had 2 outs, and I'm on second. Runners on first as well. So I think we're down by 2. I don't know. She was the winning run if she hit a home run. And there's a really good picture up, but I remember I was on deck before I got to second, and I like was manifesting. I was like, you guys, manifestation, everybody manifest right now. And like I said it in the mic. I was like, we're about to like walk off right now. We're gonna win the game. But I'm like I believe in it, but obviously I'm like having fun with it. I'm mic'd up. And I'm on second, and she ends up hitting a home run. And I'm like running around the bases screaming, like, oh my God, manifestation's real. Like I'm screaming it into the mic.
First comeback in history in the mic. I said it in the mic. I said it in the mic. Yo, manifestation is totally real. Oh my God, bro, Cece.
That was awesome.
But that's just like, yeah, I think manifestation goes into being a visionary. I mean, you have to kind of see your success before it happens. Especially in softball, we get taught that visualization before a game. So I feel like that's kind of also manifesting. I've had a lot of moments where I'm like, okay, I envision myself in this moment of bases loaded, 2 outs, and I'm the winning run. Like I try to put myself in pressure situations, and I try to visualize myself being successful. And I feel like that goes into manifestation because you're creating this positive atmosphere, this positive like energy that allows you to only think in a successful way rather than like if you're visioning yourself, okay, 2 outs, 2 strikes, I'm going to strike out in this situation. Like that's negative energy. So, I mean, I'm super into energy, super into manifestation and just vibes. But I think for me, it's more of like I'm just used to being a visual person and I just try to see my goals before I reach them. So I feel like it all just goes together.
It definitely does. And I forgot who said the quote, some old goat, but he basically said, whether you believe you can or can't, you're right. Like if you think you can do something, you can do it. If you think you can, like you already lost the battle, you definitely not gonna be able to
Yeah.
do whatever you thought. So
And
that's
that goes into mindset. I mean, it all goes into mindset. And so I feel like energy is so big. It's like if you keep putting negative energy out there, you're just going to be failing at everything and being miserable.
yeah,
Rather than if you see the light at the end of the tunnel, like I said, where you try to stay positive and you visualize positive things, you try to see above the failures, then you're just setting yourself up for success.
I agree. So this the next few segments of our podcast. It's kind of the most important part. It's my favorite because everyone loves a success story. It's kind of easy to relate to. Things are going good. So we want to talk about when you're down and when you're at your lowest. How do you come out of these points? So make sure you give the listener some good insight to how they can come out if they like lose a job, if they don't make a team, just whatever the situation is. So that's kind of what these next few questions are
Okay.
going to be about. So if you instantly lost everything right now, what's the first step or what are the few steps you would take to kind of get back on your feet or get back on track if you lost everything?
I think for me, it would be those baby steps. I'm huge on baby steps. So just creating little goals every single day to allow you to be successful. So for me, if I lost everything, the next morning I would probably be like, okay, what can I do today that's different from yesterday?
Mhm.
What can I do today that will set me up for the next day? And so I think it's just like little steps, little positive things that you can do. I know it, and I know when you're in that situation, you're probably super negative just because so much negativity is around you, but being able to snap out of that negative energy and try to think, okay, well, this morning I'm gonna go run. I'm gonna go run. I'm gonna start some little training, or for me, it's always sport related. But if it's with family, it's today I'm gonna go and do some research on what jobs I can find. Just little things I feel like that can lead you into a positive direction. And I'm not saying that you lose everything one day and you have to get it all back the next day. I think that's where people get too stressed out about it, because I feel like they think they just have to get it all back right away.
Yeah.
And it's just trusting the process. I'm big on trusting the process. So just trusting that every little thing that you do one day is going to set you up for the next day, which is going to set you up for the next day.
Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people do that. Even when people are trying to like lose weight or put on weight, they try and have it all within 2 days.
Me, yeah.
And that is very not ever possible. So
No, it's like it's hard. Okay. I can see that. And I go through that. It's just like you want to reach something so bad that you think it happens. Like it's just going to happen. Like you see those tweets all the time where it's like, I planked for 2 minutes and I'm eating an apple today. Like, why don't I have abs tomorrow kind of thing. But it's a process. And I always have to remind myself to trust the process. Especially with softball, and my whole college career was trusting the process. And it's like you don't always have to see success to be successful, if that makes sense. You could be successful without even realizing it, and it's just all with what you do that day and the steps that you're taking towards that.
Mm-hmm. And every time I've trusted the process, it works out. So I encourage people.
It does. It just takes a while.
It does take a while, but stay the course, stay with it, and like I said, it works out for numerous people.
It does.
What does failure mean to you?
Honestly, I love failure. It's weird, but failure, I
It's
think.
not weird because we talked about the mindset, so it all makes
You're
sense.
right. Okay. So failure to me is how you become successful. I mean, you can't become successful without failing. You can't learn from your mistakes without failing. And I think failure is so big for people that become successful, because that's how they know what not to do. So like you do something, you fail, okay, use that as a lesson and what can I change to become successful. So I feel like a failure to me is just kind of like reading another chapter in a book. It's part of the process, and I know that if you look at failure the right way, you can grow from it and become successful, rather than if you look at it as just a failure, then you're not really going to grow from it. And in my sport, especially in softball or in baseball, our sport is 80% failure. I mean, you go up to bat, and a good batting average is if you hit above 400, above 500, that's getting 5 hits out of 10. That's not successful. If you go to school and you get a 5 out of 10, that's not successful. That's failing. And so it's just like our whole sport is failure. For pitchers, it's failure. They're set up to fail the moment they get in the circle because they're against hitters. So I think it's just like learning from your failure and moving on as fast as you can. You can't dwell on it, especially in sports. It's I'm going to use softball again, but in softball, you make an error, you have to be able to move on. You have to be able to be ready for the next pitch. And I think what separates people and what allows you to get to that elite athlete level is being able to take the failure for what it is, learn from it, but then be able to let go and forget about it as fast as you can. And I don't know, I'm not saying I love it, like I want to fail every single day, but I definitely enjoy what I can learn from my failures.
Yeah, and you really only fail if you let it defeat you. Like no good athlete or resilient person is gonna fail and then just fail. Like they're gonna think of a way to bounce
Yeah,
back.
I feel like it's only a failure if you let it become a failure. Like that's why I say failure is success, because it's only defined as a failure if you let it be. Okay, I failed at that. Like I can't move past it. Then you just failed. But like if you're able to move past it, then it becomes success. So I don't know. That's just how I see it.
Nah, for sure, yeah. You kind of already touched on it, but I feel like you can maybe go a little more in depth, or you might have something else to add. But how do you push through your lowest times?
Um, it's hard. I mean, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it and say that it's so easy for us to just push past those low times, but for me, it goes back to trusting the process. I continuously have to tell myself that what is going on now isn't where I'm gonna end up. Um, and so I think what helps me with my low points is just focusing on those baby steps that we were talking about. Trying to do something positive every single day. It does become, it's hard mentally. I feel like when you're at that low point, I feel like all you see is just like negative, and then you start seeing all this like low parts of your life. But I think ways to get out of it is just kind of surround yourself with positive people, surround yourself with people that have the same mindset, that can push you, that can snap you out of it. You need people that are gonna be hard on you. You can't have people that say, oh, you're sad. Okay, yeah, it's okay to be sad. Like, you can't have that. You have to have people to snap out of it. You have to have people that still allow you to see that bigger picture. And I think that's what goes into trusting the process, is being able to focus on little things but still have that vision of that big goal, to still be able to see that big goal and to still be able to see what you're trying to reach while still focusing on the little steps. And so I think that's just, when I'm at a low, I just try to focus on baby steps. I don't try to go straight to the big goal until I feel like I'm in a better mindset, and then I can start focusing on that big goal.
So, speaking on goals, sound like you're a little goal type of person, which is great. Do you also set big goals? Like, first off, do you write your goals out? And if you do you set little goals that you want to win through the week, month, or whatever, and then your obviously big ultimate goals?
Okay, I should. I'm not really a writer though. I'm more like I'm more a visionary, like I said. So I kind of just visualize these goals. But yeah, I definitely always have big goals. My big goal right now is the Olympics, but that's like 8 months away.
Winning Olympics,
So,
what?
huh?
Winning Olympics, placing, like what specific?
Yeah, just, well, right now my biggest goal is just getting to the Olympics. Like, I'm just visualizing the whole being in the atmosphere of the Olympics. I feel like once I get more into my training, I'll be able to visualize actually winning a medal, placing. But for me, it's just, I have big goals, but it's like, it's almost like it's still like a dream in my head. It's still something that can't reach at this moment, but it's something that I'm still looking forward to. And then I have the small goals that we talked about. Those are the ones that I can reach right now. Those are the ones that I can strive for, which will allow me at the end of the day to be able to reach that big goal.
Exactly. What is the hardest decision you've ever had to make?
A lot. Um, this goes into sacrifice. I feel like every decision we make is hard, but I feel like the biggest one for me um, was probably whether to move from the States to Italy, whether to be more in Italy to train. I think that goes into trusting the process. You know, you think I need to go there to train, but then a part of me is also like, but I'm leaving all my friends. I'm leaving the life that I had. I'm leaving the comfort area that I had. Um, and so I think it's getting uncomfortable in a certain situation, which allows you to grow. But I think that for me was my biggest decision, and the hardest decision was whether to stay comfortable and get the training that I've been used to getting, or step out of my comfort zone and try to reach that next level.
And you went into
Yeah.
deciding this. Did you sit down and talk with your parents, your close circle, decide by yourself, or how did you go about deciding this difficult decision?
A lot of it was on my own, but I did talk to my parents. My parents are kind of biased about it though, because they're like, yeah, come to Italy, like we're there. But at the end of the day, it was more of my decision. It just made more sense. I'm constantly here with my national team anyway, so rather than having to always fly back and forth, like just stay in one spot. Um, it's just a lot of decisions that I've had to make. I think I also talked to my college coach just because he's probably the one that understood me the most with my mindset.
Right.
And I do like talking to people, but at the end of the day, I can talk to as many people as I want, but if my mind is telling me one thing, I'm still gonna follow that. So I like people's opinions, but I still fixated with what I'm having ahead and what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, because you're gonna have to live with it. You're gonna be the ones enduring it.
Exactly.
Definitely up to you at the end of the day. All right, I've named a bunch of your accomplishments. The list goes on, and it's gonna continue to go on. But to this day so far, what are you most proud of? And it doesn't have to be accomplishments. It can be a decision you made, like it can be anything. But what are you most proud of to date?
What I'm most proud of, I think what I'm most proud of is just, especially this year, is the training that I've done. This was probably the hardest year on me physically and mentally, just being able to push myself. Um, like I look back and the training that I did in quarantine, I don't even know how I did that. I don't know what allowed me to do that because I got up and I trained every single day. I did a workout every single day. And I'm like looking now and I struggle to even just go do a workout that I have to go do. So it's like I had this mindset when I was in quarantine, and I think I'm very proud of what I did at that time because I know that that was such a low time for me. Mentally, that was a low point, and so being able to get out of that and being able to push my body and my mind to a different level in a different spot, I think that's what allowed me to get to where I am now. Like now I'm in Rome and I'm training on my own, not because the national team told us to, but because I feel like I need to be doing something to be able to reach that Olympic goal. And so I think if I didn't go through that during quarantine, if I didn't push myself the way that I did, I would be content with just staying home right now and doing the bare minimum. So I think I'm super proud of just being able to get through that mental side and push myself this year.
I'm glad that you're pushing yourself because quarantine was rough for everyone. I just came back from Morocco, so I didn't really want to do anything either. And your workouts, following the Erika Fit page, following the workout. So that I'm glad you were doing it because it was making me do it. You were holding me accountable, even if you knew it or not.
See, like a lot of people have told me that, and I was like, that's crazy because the only reason I created that page was to hold myself accountable. Like I was like, okay, well, I have to post today, so I might as well do a workout kind of thing. And it's just, it kind of blows my mind that holding myself accountable has allowed other people to hold themselves accountable. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but be like that. Some days you was too late though. I'm waking up at 10. I don't got no post. Like, well, I need my work for the day.
It's that foreign thing.
I know you'll figure it out one day. What is the best advice you can give someone? Athlete, non-athlete, anything. Young kids, what's the best advice you can give someone?
Do something that you love every single day. I feel like there's people right now that are doing stuff that they're either told that they should be doing or they're not truly in love with. And I feel like for us as athletes, the reason that we get to where we are is because at the end of the day, we love what we're doing. No matter how hard training is, no matter the sacrifices, no matter what, at the end of the day, it's something that we love to do. It's something that allows us to get our mind out of the real world and just focus on one thing. And I think if you can't find that, that's when you're going to start struggling. If you can't enjoy the things that you're doing, that's when life is going to get pretty hard. And so I always tell the young kids, and I always tell the younger generation, is just find something that you love to do and stick to it. Whether it's sports, whether it's a hobby, whether it's a subject in school, like if you enjoy it and if it's something that you love, making those sacrifices and making those hard decisions is going to be so much easier than when it's something that you don't love doing. And especially with sports, and I tell this to the kids that are trying to go to college for it, especially when I do like softball camps and I'm talking to these young girls, I always ask them, like, do you love the sport? do you love what you're doing right now, or are you here just because your parents are paying for it and they're forcing you to come? Because at the end of the day, a lot of people that quit sports in college is because they didn't actually love what they were doing.
Yeah.
Because if you love what you're doing, you're going to put your body through you're going to put your body through hell because it's what you love to do. So if you don't love doing it, that's going to set yourself up for failure, because you're just doing something that you're never going to find that next gear, because it's not something that
you're gonna run out the juice.
You're going to burn out. Yeah, exactly. You're going to burn out. And parents these days, like this generation, is horrible to watch, just because they're burning out their kids. They're forcing them to do stuff that they don't enjoy, or maybe one day they did enjoy it and then they just got burned out because it started to become more of a forced thing on them.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I'm glad my parents raised me the way that they did, is they never forced anything on me. They're like, if you like doing it, do it. If it's something that you don't like, finish the season and then find something else. So I think that's the most important thing for this young generation, is just find something that you love to do and stick to it. Don't do something because someone's forcing you to do it. Don't do something because your friends are doing it. Do something that you love, and it's gonna be so easy to be able to keep going with it.
I agree. Like, not even kids, but I feel like just people in general, they're not finding what they're passionate about. They're just comfortable kind of going with the flow.
Yeah, like they think that a 9-to-5 job is, I think, like they're like, oh, I need to work in an office from 9 to 5 because that's just what
society says you're supposed to do, pretty much.
That's what we're supposed to do. I'm like, okay, but you're gonna do a 9-to-5 job and be miserable? At least find something that you love to do from 9 to 5. Like, don't make it something because society tells you that that's what you have to do. Do you think society tells me I need to play professional softball? Because absolutely not. We don't get paid anything. But it's what I love to do, so it's easy. It's an easy decision. So I think just do what you love and be committed to it. And no matter what the outside world is telling you, if it's something that makes you happy, something that makes your heart happy, then it's what you need to be doing.
Okay, before we wrap this up, we have a couple more questions. What's one change that someone can make right now to change their life? Like waking up earlier, eating healthy, just one change that they can make to just have a different outcome. Reach their goals in life.
I would say smiling every day. It's a little thing. I feel like I'm not going to tell someone to wake up early if they don't need to wake up early. I'm not going to tell someone to eat right if they don't think they need to eat right. But I think something that just changes your mindset completely is just smiling more throughout the day, doing something that you love. For me, it's the days that I'm smiling, the days that I'm laughing the most are the days that I feel like I'm at the highest level of energy and I'm at the highest part of where I'm supposed to be. And so the days that I'm down, or the days that I'm not as motivated, are probably the days that I'm not smiling more and doing what I love. So I think just constantly every day find something that you love doing. If you like reading books, read a book in the morning. If you like watching a movie, watch a movie before you get your day started. If you're a coffee addict, drink some coffee, and then that could just change your day. If you like tea, drink some tea. But do something that you love just to get your day started, and it'll change your whole mindset.
Dig that. All right, so you heard the little disclaimer earlier. We're not where we want to be in life, but we're successful to an extent. So with that being said, who fits the criteria, and who do you think I should have as a future guest? And if I don't know them, you got to plug me if you know them. But who do you think I should have?
Okay, so I've been thinking about this throughout our whole talk. And obviously I'm going to stick to my sport because it's a great sport. Mm-hmm. But being at Athletes Unlimited, I've met so many amazing athletes, and you don't realize that we're not just athletes. Like, there's so many things that we're doing outside of this sport, and so many things that we're passionate about. And if you can get Jasmine Jackson onto your podcast, I think she will have a lot of things to say about success and about what she's doing with her life outside of sports. She's from the Bay Area, so she has a lot of stories about that. She's opening up her own hitting facility right now. She's working to get more Black women involved in softball and in sports in general. So I think she's doing a lot of positive things outside of the sports that will help a lot of people with their mindset and maybe even give them some ideas. So I will plug you if you don't know who Jasmine Jackson is.
I don't know. You gonna plug
She
me.
went to Berkeley.
I'm not from the Bay, so that.
All right, I'll plug you.
Say less. All right. So we talked about the Olympics, but what's next for you? Is it just the Olympics is the next big thing on the agenda for you?
Yeah, right now that's literally the only thing on my mind. I think after the Olympics, I'm obviously still gonna be playing softball, but maybe take more personal time and try to explore the world more. I'm huge on traveling, so I'm focusing on doing some of that when I'm done, going back to Athletes Unlimited for sure next year.
Is it gonna be Chicago again, or you guys aren't sure yet?
Yeah, Chicago.
Place, okay.
Chicago. Hopefully, I mean, I love the bubble, but maybe we'll have an experience without a bubble next year. So I'm hoping for that. But right now it's just biggest thing on my mind is the Olympics and what we're gonna do leading up to July.
Cool. So where can the people find you at? We need all social media handles.
So you can find me on Instagram, Erika_20, on Twitter, Erika_20 with 2 U's, I think. And yeah, my handle is Erika_20 on everything. I just might add an extra U.
What about the fitness page? The fitness page popping right
Oh,
now?
Erika_fit, but it's on hold. I have not been on that page in a minute just because I've been doing our team workouts, so I haven't really been able to post much. But if you do need motivation, you can go on Erika Fit, and all my workouts are still on there. So
I think you should post some on your story. You should post some of y'all workouts or just like behind the scenes stuff.
yeah, I need to do that. I'm really bad with recording stuff, but I did post my sprints yesterday. Posted, yeah, on the gram, but I will definitely do that to keep you guys behind the scenes.
Cool. Hey, so I know I'm not big on it, but I know the people that's on the TikTok. You on the TikTok? So what's your TikTok handle?
My TikTok handle is just my full name, Erika Piancastelli. I'm not good at TikTok, so no one watch my TikToks, and
It's not fast.
I did start doing this vlog thing on TikTok where I was like, I'm gonna vlog every single day I'm in Rome, but that's like a lot. TikTok is a lot. I couldn't catch up. I couldn't do it. I will try to do more videos, but I can't just record my whole day like that.
I feel that. Hey, you know my favorite TikTok is of yours?
Which one?
Can you guess? I know there's so
Is
many.
it the one where I have a big head?
Yeah, the basketball themed one.
Oh, with Justice?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't even post that on TikTok. I didn't post that. That was funny.
That one's hilarious.
Yeah. I can make some pretty funny TikToks. It's just a lot. I don't know if you guys understand what goes behind the TikTok. Like I have mad respect for people that do TikToks every single day now.
You do TikTok?
No, I don't.
You have like over 10 videos.
Yeah, 10? Do you know the real TikTokers, how many videos they have?
I don't.
I feel like you would be good at TikTok, though. Maybe you should do like a SB TikTok.
If the youth run it for me, I would do it, but I'm not. I try to do it one and like the filters and all the stuff was just not it.
It's hard.
Yeah, y'all be in the bag, y'all.
And I'm not creative either, so it's like you either tell me what to do or I'm not doing it. Like I can't just think of something.
Exactly. But thank you for your time. I think the podcast was a success. So
thank you for having me.
What size shirt you wear though? I need to get you in some merch ASAP.
Medium.
Shirt or a hoodie?
Hoodie. I can pick?
I mean, that was your choice. You just chose a hoodie.
Okay, hoodie.
All right, bet I got
For
you.
sure, hoodie.